the U.S. Attorney's Office has put together a panel to potentially consider criminal charges for the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump. You guys heard that poppy intro correctly. The U.S. Attorney's Office is now impaneling a grand jury to consider criminal charges in the Trump assassination investigation. I just saw this article and I was like, okay, wait. I have to read this, and then I want to bring it to you guys and maybe see if we can kind of crowdsource this, because I'm so curious as to what's really going to happen here. The Western District of Pennsylvania has impaneled a grand jury to investigate the attempted assassination of Donald Trump on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania. A letter obtained by Human Events from America First Legal reveals that a records request for information on would-be assassin Thomas Crooks was denied because those records are within the scope of a grand jury subpoena. So to break that down a little bit, it looks like a Freedom of Information Act request was submitted by America First Legal, which is very normal. A lot of organizations like Judicial Watch and other organizations similar to it do that all the time to try and get as much information out of the government as possible. Really good stuff. But of course, the government can always say, no, we don't want to. It's part of an active investigation or something like that. That's what they normally say. But this time, they had to tell the truth for a reason, and they had to say a grand jury subpoena restricts them. The letter from the Community College of Allegheny County, in response to attorney Wally Zimolong, denies the request for records on Crooks pertaining to his student files, records, documents, communication, and other data containing his name. Please be advised that your request is denied on the basis that it requests records that relate to an ongoing criminal investigation, which are exempt from disclosure. Specifically, and there's the really important part, specifically, the records that you have requested are within the scope of a grand jury subpoena issued by CCAC and the United States District Court for the Western District of Pennsylvania, which the U.S. Attorney's Office has confirmed relate to an ongoing criminal investigation. The purpose of a federal grand jury is to consider criminal charges against a target or a range of targets. This is the first indication that a grand jury has been impaneled in the district to investigate the attempted assassination. As you guys know, the assassination attempt was made by a 20-year-old, just maybe about a year or a few months older than me, which is a crazy thought, who is local to the area. He was positioned on a rooftop with clear sight of the stage and fired off several rounds, including one that killed Corey Comparator and injured 2 other men. Local officers and Secret Service personnel responded to the rooftop, and Crooks was first shot by local law enforcement before then being killed by Secret Service agents. Secret Service agents also rushed Trump off the stage, but not before he could do his infamous and very famous, I should say, fight, 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 and pumping his fist in the air. We've all seen the image. It's really famous. It is not clear as of yet who is being investigated by the grand jury. However, the Crooks family has retained lawyers, and several Secret Service agents from the Pittsburgh field office, which covers Butler, were placed on leave. Now, as you guys know, ever since this entire mess went down with the attempted assassination on Trump, now almost 2 months ago, or actually approaching 2 months, there have been a lot of investigations and a lot of hearings that happened specifically in Congress with the former director of the Secret Service, who her name is slipping from my mind, but it was a lady. And then she actually resigned, she stepped down, and then the deputy director, who then became the acting director, has also been grilled quite a bit by Congress, I believe some House committees, other things of that nature. Everybody has been pointing fingers and asking the Secret Service, how could this happen? Why would you let this happen? What can be done better in the future? And a lot of people have begun to ask the really sane question, I'd say, of are our political candidates, even the president or former presidents, Biden and Trump, safe under Secret Service protection? Information on the investigation into Crooks has been something of a slow leak. His internet search history was revealed, along with the fact that he purchased the gun he used in the mass shooting from his father. Among his searches was the name Ethan Crumbley, who was a Michigan teen who shot up his school, and Crumbley's parents were convicted in association with their son's crimes, which is an interesting story. The Crooks family has shied away from speaking with the press, and it was reported by the Daily Mail that Crooks' father, Matthew, has hired a team of powerhouse attorneys from the Pittsburgh firm Quinn Logue amid the increasing FBI investigation into the incident in which he lost his son, a family lost their father, and America almost lost their leading presidential candidate. A family member spoke to the Daily Mail on condition of anonymity, stating that the FBI still very much has questions about how much they knew and how he slid through the net. Florida Congressman Mike Waltz indicated that he did not believe that Crooks acted alone. "You can't tell us his motive, but you could tell us he operated alone?" Waltz asked. "You can't get into those encrypted overseas accounts, but you can tell us he acted alone." Lastly, Secret Service agents from the United States Secret Service Pittsburgh field office were placed on leave after the assassination attempt, which was seen as a security failure. The head of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, that's her name, yeah, I remember, Cheadle, yeah, there you go, resigned following the failure, and she was replaced by acting USS Director Ronald Rowe. He spoke to Congress saying, "I went to the roof of the AGR building where the assailant fired shots and laid in a prone position to evaluate his line of sight. What I saw made me ashamed. As a career law enforcement officer and a 25-year veteran with the Secret Service, I cannot defend why that roof was not better secured." It looks like an investigation might finally be underway about how this all was allowed to happen. But do you guys think it's really going to get anywhere? Are there going to be charges, potentially against maybe Thomas Crooks' family? And a deeper, more philosophical question on that front, should his parents face criminal charges for what their son did? It's not as if they said, hey, go do this. It's more so maybe they had poor parenting, or maybe they were stand-up parents and the son was just unfortunately radicalized. It's up to you guys. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Maybe we can talk about it another time. But aside from all that, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. And don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence.